Hey everyone, today in this video I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of all the features of our current demo matte boxes. These matte boxes are of course our FRS-Light, which stands for Filter Reading System. So you can see when I insert a filter, it will automatically display on the side of the matte box. So obviously the purpose of this matte box, the primary purpose, is just to save you time on set. So when you're taking filters in and out, you don't have to deal with Velcro tags or pieces of tape, and you are always aware of what filter is in your matte box based on the display. When you're on set, you don't have to do anything. You just treat it like a normal matte box, everything works automatically. You don't have to use a phone app or anything when you're on set. All of that work is meant to be done in prep. Or at the rental house, and it really only needs to be done once. So once you set a filter up, it stays set up forever. So before I dive deeper into the filter reading system itself, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mechanical features of the matte box. The first of which is the size. So these matte boxes are essentially the exact same size as your standard LMB matte box that you're used to using. And they are very mildly heavier, of course, they do have the electronics in them, but that weight is roughly 10% heavier, pretty much non-noticeable, especially by the time you're getting on a lens and the camera and all that, right? And the other thing we get a lot of questions about is the weight distribution, and you can see that the weight is distributed perfectly evenly from side to side, so it's still great for using on a gimbal, whatever, you don't have to worry about balance issues, so it's perfectly distributed weight-wise. As far as durability is concerned, these matte boxes are extremely durable. They're made entirely out of aluminum and carbon fiber, which we do machine in-house. We make these carbon fiber light shades in-house. The screen itself is Gorilla Glass with e-ink. Gorilla Glass is obviously very tough, and e-ink is a much more durable display than, say, an LCD screen. So really should never be any problems with durability. Also, the whole thing is weather sealed and good to go out in the weather and the dust. We've had it out in the rain and the snow already. Have had no issues with that. And yeah, in the future we'll definitely be doing a destruction video, durability testing, and just see exactly how far we can go. But yeah, we are incredibly confident with the durability factor of the matte box. So filter reading system aside, we've put a lot of focus into the mechanical features of this matte box because that is just as important, if not more important, than the filter reading system itself. So to start with, you have a top flag, and this is a system that many of you will be familiar with. Just a couple screws and the entire top flag releases. The trays themselves have a very nice action. You get a nice click right in the center. You can, of course, slide them all the way through. You can insert them any direction. We do have tray catches on both sides of the matte box. We have one tray catch that will release the back tray only and one that will release the front tray only, or you can open them both up and do all three. But you can see I can put the tray in upside down. If you've got a light ranger above the matte box or whatever the reason, yeah, you can easily put the trays in the bottom side also. The backplates are quite a bit different than what you may have seen before, in that, first of all, we have a little lever system, a cam lever system, so that you can remove the matte box just using a lever once you get your tension right, which makes switching lenses a little quicker. And then we also have a fully reversible backplate, so you can actually put the lever on either side of the matte box. We just have two screws to undo the back plates, and the screws are actually retained in the plate itself, so that means when the plate is tightened on, there is no chance of the plate falling off. It's not using just a friction system, it's actually totally clamped down into the matte box. Also, you can see there is a spot right now for an accessory rail on the top. We don't have one of those yet, but there will be a rail here for mounting accessories on the top. And also, we have an accessory bracket on the right side of the matte box that will be usable with the RE swing-away arm, for instance, and other accessories. We can mount 15mm support on the bottom or 19mm support, as well as future upgrades can include bottom flag, top flags, reversible top to bottom flag, what have you. So the way the filter reading system works is RFID tags. So you can see the mat box automatically detects when I take out a filter, when I put in a filter. And the way it detects that is using these small RFID tags, which you can see here on the edge of the glass. It's a very low profile, essentially so thin you can't even see it from the front. Just the same size as a little piece of tape that goes right on the edge of the filter. And the idea is that you can tag as many filters as you want and just leave the tags on there forever. So a rental house can tag all of their filters. It doesn't affect the use in other mat boxes. But once that's done and once the tag is programmed, you don't need to do anything other than put the filter in and watch it show up on the screen. And so that's kind of the one-time programming system where, yeah, it takes a little bit of prep once, but once you go past that, you never have to do it again. That being said, of course, you can remove the tags easily. The tags are essentially just an expendable. They're roughly $1 a piece. So if you need to remove the tags, if you need to buy a set for a certain production and then you're removing them, it's not a big deal. But it's great if you can just leave them on there. So if maybe you own your own mat box and you want to get a number of trays, or just if you just want to keep just a few trays tagged permanently, you can also take one of these tags, and here's one off of the filter. You can also take one of these tags and just put it right inside of the tray itself, which then essentially makes your tray a permanently tagged tray. So you can see I put the tag right there on the inside edge of that tray. And now when I put the tray in, so this is a new tag, so when I put this tray in, nothing's going to show up yet because it still needs to be programmed, but I'll go through that. So I'm going to put this in, you see the light turn off here, which indicates that the tag is not yet set up. And these tags are easily programmable through the app. So you can see on this app right now, it is a beta app right now, but you can see I have a section that says new filter. It kind of gives me a little orange warning there that it's a new filter, just so you don't miss that. And I will set it up. So I have a filter screen, I have a filter option screen here. So I can, I don't know, this is obviously a blank tray right now, but say I'm just going to put an REND filter in there. I can go FSND and pick 0.3 and hit program. And there you go. It has initialized the tag and it will now show up as the FSND on the screen there. So now that that's initialized here, let's put another filter in. So I'm going to drop this next filter into the mat box. So the same IRND we had earlier, and now on the app you can see that the app will automatically display that on the screen, which is the same as it does on the mat box. And you can see that the app also matches the color background. So right now the background on this mat box is set to white, and there are two different colors on these tags. And so you can actually change the color within the tag. So if I click on this IRND, I'm going to long press, and say I want the white background, hit save there. And now we have a white background on the IRND. The other cool thing you can do, you can see that both of these are, the text is pretty equal there on the screen. So let's say that I want to have the number bigger. We have a mode called focus mode. And I'm going to switch that here in the app. So I'm going to switch focus mode on here. And you can see when I switch focus mode on, the numbers become much larger and easier to read there. And so the FSND is small, the IRND is small, the numbers are big. Again, the background color, all of that's all customizable via the app. For both the background color and the filter tag color, you can make the background color either black, white, or gray, which makes it easy for you to have your tags stand out depending on what settings you want to do. All settings are totally customizable either per individual tag or per filter type. So you can have all NDs show up white and all diffusion filters show up black, for instance. Beyond just the background color itself, you can also do backlight colors. So I'm going to go in here and switch this FSND to show up as red. So now when you see the display come up here, now the FSND has a red light, whereas the rest of the mat box is white. So since we just had the empty tray, actually, I do want to have a filter in the mat box just for demo purposes. So I'm going to initialize a new filter here. I'm going to stick this tag on. If you stick the tag a little off center, it will also read if you have the filter tilted in the mat box So that's what I like to do, because often you need to tilt the filter for anti-reflection wedges, and that will read in the matte box. But for now, I'm going to initialize this new filter. This is just a clear filter, so again, just pop it in there real quick, pull up the app, and you can see the new filter automatically comes up here. I'm going to click new filter. It always does remember what menu you were on previously, so if you're programming all of the RAF-SNDs in a row, you don't have to go back there every time, but it is really quick just to get back to the main menu. I'm going to hit the Nisi, because this is one of those Nisi clear filters, and okay, so actually our list of filters here is still in progress. We're filling out this entire list of all existing filters that is available on the app, but I don't see a Nisi clear here, so this gives me a good opportunity just to show you that if you just click on the new filter itself, if for some reason the filter is not in the pre-existing list, you can just go ahead and type in what the abbreviation you want is. So I'm just going to type clear, and hit save. And now it will initialize it as a clear filter. And actually, I'm not loving how the clear is showing up here. I think I'd rather have it be in all caps. So it's also really easy. Either you can double click into this menu, or if you just want to long press on the app, then you can go ahead and alter the details. Reprogramming filters is really quick. So I'm just going to make this say clear in all caps. And maybe I'll make the background color on this one black just to make it show up differently from the other one. And hit save. And now you go. Shows up on the screen just like that. So it's really easy to program, initialize filter tags. It's really easy to overwrite filter tags. All of that is super streamlined. So right now in this matte box, you can see that the clear filter, which is closest to the lens, is showing up at the top of the screen. And that's just kind of the industry standard, but maybe you want it the other direction. Maybe you want the clear to show up on the bottom, or the filter that's closest to the lens to show up on the bottom. So that's really easy to edit also. Just going to go into the matte box settings here, and just with one click of a button, you can just switch that around, and now the clear is closest to the lens. The bottom stage on the screen is closest to the lens. So those are just really easy to flip there. And say that you have your matte box on inverted. It's also really easy to just flip that whole screen around. So if your matte box is on this way and you want the screen on the right side of the matte box, you can now have it display that way really easily. Yeah, and so this app, once you have it, it's easy to play around with some features, and you can go a little more in depth. But as you can see, it's really quick and easy to use, and it has all the features you need readily available right there. And you can go further than that. One feature we will be including before long here is the camera index, so you can label camera A, camera B, whatever. Frame rate, shutter speed, you can display all that on this same screen, as well as filter tags. The filter tags will obviously show up smaller than, or instead of filter tags. So either way, it's just another good way to put the screen to use and show some extra camera info. Okay, so another question you might be having right now is, well, what about, sure, you have these, your standard filters here, right? What about a filter like a Rotopola? How are you going to get a tag on that? Well, we do have actually special tags, and we're hoping that all our tags will be the same at some point. But right now we have special on-metal tags that go on frames like this. And again, these are demo matte boxes. This is still in development. It's put on here with electrical tape right now. But that's fine. It's still a non-metal tag. It works. We'll have these in the future. And so when you pop in the Rotopola, you'll still be able to read Rotopola. So that's a pretty good overview of what we have right now. Again, all three filters you can see in there. Just continually reading. One thing I do want to go over real quick is just some future features that we'll be incorporating. So the first of which is exterior displays, essentially, which includes the camera, maybe the hand unit. We do have the ability with this matte box to talk through Bluetooth. That's how we communicate with the app, but also we can communicate to the newer cameras that have Bluetooth. We can't right now, but that is, again, a future feature. That's what we're working on. We'd really like all of this information that's in the matte box to also go to the camera display and even into the metadata on the camera file so that you can just reference that later. I know a lot of second ACs or maybe scripties will come in and write down the filter information for every single shot, and that shouldn't need to be a thing. The other thing we we'll have is communication from the camera, so that, like I was saying, with all that camera index frames per second, the shutter angle, all of that can be pulled directly from the camera and just be there displayed reliably for you without actually having to type it in. We've had a lot of requests for a screen on this side of the matte box as well, so it's likely we will have a module that will come onto this side of the screen, either just to display camera info or filters, and that way you can decide which one you want to do on either side of the matte box, or possibly even a display that integrates with some of the rangefinders out there. And until those features are available, until talking to the camera is available and sending that data to the camera, if you do want to gather the filter information without having to write it down, we do have an SD card in this matte box that records every single filter change. And if you want to line that up with your video, all you have to do is jam the matte box with timecode. So we have an adapter cable that you can attach to a timecode, any kind of timecode generator, and just plug it in real quick. It'll jam the matte box, and now the timecode on the matte box will be synced with the timecode for the rest of the shoot. And so then if you want to go back on a shot, check the timecode on the shot later, you can reference that with the data from the SD card and figure out exactly what filters you were using for that shot. And yeah, it takes a little longer than if the data were just straight in the camera file itself, but it is a way to do it if you just want that as a backup, you know, because you're not going to be needing to check your filters for every single shot, most likely. So there you go. There's our FRS-Light matte box. And thank you for joining us today.